It feels like 10 minutes. We're waiting for the YouTube live link. Good morning. On behalf of Major General Matthew Quinn, the Adjutant General of the Montana National Guard, welcome to today's ceremony. In this ceremony, you will witness the change of command for the 120th Airlift Wing, Colonel Dixon's promotion to Brigadier General, and the assumption of command for the Montana Air National Guard. Presiding officer for today's ceremony will be Major General Matthew Quinn. Please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem and the invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Staff Sergeant Reinhardt, for singing the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain Simpson will now give the invocation.
Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to come to you in celebration of this momentous change of command ceremony. Actually, 2 in 1, Lord. We have the 120th Airlift Wing change of command and the Montana Air National Guard change of command, and we recognize the efforts, the sacrifices, the service that was made by these men, General Ronick, Colonel Thomas, Colonel Dixon. And Lord, we thank you for what they've done for our community. We thank you for what they've done for our state, for our military, and our nation. Lord, I pray that you will bless them, give them wisdom, guidance, Lord. Protect them as they make their transitions. Lord, I pray that you would be with their families. We thank you for their support. We are so blessed and grateful for the sacrifices that they have made as well, so these men can be used for your glory and your purpose and to make our nation better. Lord, I pray that you'd also be with Colonel Dixon as he is promoted to Brigadier General. I pray, Lord, that you would guide him, Lord, in this new position that he will be in. And Lord, I pray that this time, this moment we have here will be a celebration, a recognition, and it'll be a motivation to bring excellence to our wing and to our state and our nation. We ask this all in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Simpson. Please be seated. At this time, we would like to recognize our distinguished visitors and guests. We ask that you please hold your applause until all of our guests have been announced. Today's official party includes Major General Quinn, Adjutant General of the Montana National Guard; Colonel Dixon, incoming Commander of the Montana Air National Guard; Colonel Thomas, incoming Commander of the 120th Airlift Wing; Chief Master Sergeant Kelly, Wing Command Chief; Colonel Dixon's family, fiancée Julie, and her parents David and Beverly; parents Bill and Joanne; sons Jacob, Jared, and Connor; sisters Christy and her husband Bob; Terry and her sons Buck and Zach; Shelley and her husband Lloyd; uncle Gene and his girlfriend Ann; niece Erica and her husband Matt; Colonel Thomas's family, wife Leslie, parents Janice and Lyle; children Tori, Timer, Taya, and Alicia, and her husband Colton, and sons Keelan, Nevada, and Tilden; Colonel Wilkins, Director of the Joint Staff; Chief Master Sergeant Zumbrum, Senior Enlisted Leader for the Montana National Guard; Colonel Mora, Chief of Staff of the Montana Air National Guard; Chief Master Sergeant Otto, State Command Chief. It is my pleasure to introduce the Adjutant General of the Montana National Guard, Major General Quinn.
Well, good morning, everybody, and certainly to the airmen that are in other locations due to the situation that we find ourselves in. You know, they talk about taking joy in simple pleasures, and mine typically, as I stand here in the Larson room, is I try to pace around the podium up here so the camera has to try to follow me. But they figured that out, and they pinned me down by making me stand next to a mic because I refuse to hold a mic. But even though we are in different times, military traditions continue. And in our organizational structures within our Army and Air Force, Montana Army National Guard, Montana Air National Guard, one of the most important to the members of the units is the change of command and the changing out of leadership. And so here within the Montana Air National Guard, certainly within the 120th Airlift Wing, there are airmen who look and say, how is this going to affect me? And as senior leaders, it's one of the things that we look most closely at, because those airmen, those soldiers that continue to join our organization day in and day out, they trust that we will do the right thing in selecting leaders that will lead with honor, that will lead with integrity, and that will ensure their safety when that call comes and they have to deploy. And so this first ceremony today, as we go about the changing of command for the 120th Airlift Wing from Colonel Dixon to Colonel Thomas, it is one that we as senior leaders of the Montana National Guard have looked at closely, have studied, and know the character and the background of the two officers who are at this point in time handing off the leadership of the 120th Airlift Wing from one very outstanding officer, Buell Dixon, to another very fine officer, Colonel Trace Thomas. And it is that assurance that I provide to the airmen and certainly to the families across Montana of our airmen that serve in the Montana Air National Guard and the 120th Airlift Wing, that I am confident in the capabilities of both of these individuals, as Buell has demonstrated his leadership and as Trace has demonstrated his leadership as he assumes this new role. Following that, we will have the honor of promoting Colonel Buell Dixon to Brigadier General. And Julie, I would tell you, had I known this is what it was going to take, I would have done it much sooner, and you would have been a fiance much sooner. So I did not know that that's what was hanging in the balance, but now I do. And certainly, Bill and Joanne, congratulations. This is an awesome day for you and for the entire Dixon family. But this is a moment where you should cherish. And what the moment signifies is the incredible job you have done raising a man that is preparing to pin on his star and take command of the entire Montana Air National Guard. No greater responsibility and no greater honor for you and for Buell of this day. So congratulations to you, and thank you for raising the son that we are able to promote to Brigadier General today. So again, to my airmen, to our airmen out there, congratulations, and thank you all for your service. But my personal congratulations to you, Buell, and you, Trace. We provide to you, the Montana Air National Guard airmen, that are looking up to that leadership, that honor, that integrity, that you will continue to lead them with those values in place. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you both for serving. And again, to all of the airmen across the Montana Air National Guard, thanks for your service and thanks for your dedication to this state and nation. Thank you all.
Thank you, General Quinn. Colonel Dixon, will you please come forward?
Well, thanks everybody for being here today. It's kind of a strange deal here with the COVID thing going on and having just a small crowd here when normally we'd have, 800 people here out in the hangar. Hopefully everybody's out there listening on Facebook and YouTube and those kind of things, and this is getting telecast out to our airmen. So hopefully that's working out well. First, sir, I'd like to thank you for everything you've done for me. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to work for you. It wasn't that bad. Wasn't you see
What the hell does that mean?
I expected you to have more influence on the wing, and you kind of gave me the reins, and I appreciate that. And I think that speaks around for your leadership as well. So thank you very much.
I'm glad it wasn't that bad.
So there you go. Julie, thank you for being here. Thank you for all your support and everything you've done to help me out through this, and you've been there by my side through the whole thing. I'd like to thank my family, my mom and dad who brought me up. Thank you for everything you guys have done for me, and my two boys as well, and Connor. Thanks for your support throughout this whole thing. It's been a long road, almost 35 years of it, so thank you. I want to thank all my sisters and nephews and everything for being here. And Uncle Gene and Ann, thank you for being here as well. And Matt and Erica, thanks. Buck and Zach. I also want to thank my group commanders that are sitting in the back there. It's been a long road, seems like sometimes, but we really accomplished a lot, and I'll cover some of those things in a minute. But I appreciate all your work. It hasn't been that bad. It's been great working with you. You guys are truly outstanding professional airmen, and I appreciate all your support and everything you've done. I guess that's a hint. I'd like to thank Kim. Where's Kim at? She's around here. Thank you, Kim. She's the one that's been with me through the whole thing for the 3 years. Everybody else has changed out. She's been my rock and kept me sane and straight, so I appreciate everything you've done, Kim. Casey, I'd like to thank you as well. Thank you for your support and everything you've done. You've been an outstanding exec. Chief, thanks for your support as well. We've been through a lot of times. Actually, Chief here was, when I applied to be a pilot, he was the one getting my blues ready so I could go to the board and meet the board. And I guess he's still doing it today, actually. So thanks for that, Chief, and thanks for all your support. Colonel Carlton, it's been great working with you, and I'm sure we'll continue to work together. You took a ton of the load in the wing, and I appreciate that. That allowed me to concentrate more on the mission than the other things, so thank you very much. I'd also like to thank the airmen of the wing. I'd like to thank you for your Montana work ethic, what you've done in the wing, and the things we've accomplished. I'll cover some of those. I'll try to be fast. I don't have a ton, but I'll try to be fast. You guys are outstanding. You've always stepped up to everything you've needed to and taken on the mission, and we've succeeded in everything we've done, so I appreciate it. So where we've been busy for the last 3 years. Last year we won the Air Force Outstanding Unit Award. That was great, and we're about to win it again. I'd be surprised if we don't. So we're on our way there. FM, we executed over 99% of our budget in the last couple years, and that's an outstanding feat, making sure that we're taking every dollar and putting it where it counts and ensuring that it's working out for us. So that's a feat in itself. We spent $2.6 million in 41 contracts just this last FY. And we're still going. So we just keep moving forward. Our deployments, we deployed over 439 airmen to 12 different countries around the world, to include Antarctica. We deployed 4 aircraft and 120 personnel in support of Operation Spartan Shield, producing over 1,000 sorties and almost 2,000 hours of combat flight. We supported hurricane relief. We were the first ones into Puerto Rico after the hurricane hit there, and we were in several other places around down there by Puerto Rico helping out with medevac, with supplies, with everything we could do down there. So that says a lot for our wing being up here in northern Montana, where we don't get those, where we can go down and help the people in harm's way. Also, with the COVID response throughout the state, we've been busy doing that. We've been up in Shelby at the retirement home, in the hospitals. We've been at airports, train stations, all over the state, helping out with COVID. And if you didn't hear, the retirement home up in Shelby had a lot of COVID cases, and we came through so far, knock on wood, through this whole COVID thing, almost 1,000 airmen without a case one of COVID in the wing. So hats off to the airmen that are able to do that and still respond, and being able to work with those people on a close basis that are having the COVID and still stay safe. We're still not done. We're still working civil unrest with the riots out in D.C. and abroad, and we're sending troops. We're picking up troops throughout other states and taking them out to help out as they're going through those times, as we will here a little bit as well. Our exercises, when I took over, had an open house right away with an air show with the Thunderbirds here, and it hasn't stopped since. We've been busy ever since. We did our UEI capstone, and that's to validate the wing's overall effectiveness, and we stepped out of there with best seen to date strategic plan. We had multiple chemical exercises throughout the wing, training airmen how to continue to operate and fly in a contested chemical environment. We've hosted Kyrgyzstan State Partnership for base tour, hosted 2 international cadet exchange program, providing a base tour and C-130 flight for 19 international students. We supported Malmstrom's open house with 53 members for over 8 days. We did Blizzard Defiance with 3 aircraft down to Gulfport for a joint exercises, working on high altitude airdrop, dirt landing zone, and maintenance training, as well as med group training down there. Medical group sent 21 members to participate in Patriot South, a 5-day mass joint force military civilian DOM ops exercise. We've done multiple active shooter exercises that you've seen around the country where the active shooters happen. We've done multiple exercises around here to ensure that we're prepared if something like that were to happen here. Wing has flown over 6,000 hours and over 3,000 sorties in the past couple of years, and 0 Class A or B mishaps, safety mishaps. That's pretty good. We've done multiple airman resiliency events, suicide prevention events, suicide awareness events. We supported Malmstrom's wing-wide resiliency tactical pause. We supported with 3 speaking events from our airmen up here for Malmstrom. Seems like we have the expertise in just about everything we need up here, and we tend to help out the active duty. 24 lunch and learns, 24 after-hours community events, 4 community action team-sponsored leadership training events, and we did an international-wide video publication on suicide awareness prevention featuring the 120th Air Wing here out to the entire world. 3 Wingman Days events supporting over 1,000 people at a time. Hosted spring Easter events, Christmas parties, youth summer camps, yellow ribbons, and still stayed fit with over 95% of our airmen staying fit on the fit test. Our community support, 10 event flyovers, provided static display in support of Man Gulch Memorial Anniversary, over 600 fire and explosive ordnance emergency responses for our community. We sent out of here to help out the community. Deployed disaster relief mobile kitchen trailer to the Crow Agency, serving 140 soldiers and airmen and Crow Agency tribal leaders for 116 days. That's a feat in itself. We did the Danny Berg Memorial with over 50 turkeys a year and dinners supplied to our community throughout the community over Christmas. Wing held 4 open hangar events for our schools, 5 boss lists for our civilian employers where we take them up in the C-130, and 2 international cadet exchange flights. We supported 3 presidential events. We had a lot of construction going on up here. We built the first firing range of the Air National Guard modular firing range where we shoot our small arms, pistols, and rifles in, and we are now looked at as for the model to how other units can do it. We have the number 4 engine test cell stand in the country, and we're being looked at as a northern tier because we're the first northern tier in the cold weather to make this work. We're working on our drop zone in Fort Benton. That's going to be a big drop zone where we can get 4 ships across that, 4 aircrafts at a time at night in the weather, whatever we need to do. That'll be a first for that kind of drop zone coming to the Guard. We're getting ready to do new things here too. We're putting in a new main gate for force protection here. And we've done a lot of other updates to some of our buildings around. We're putting in new runway lights out there for nighttime landing zone operations for our airmen. We're building recreation areas. We're extending our ramp out here over a $9 million project we're working on right now. Innovation's been awesome. We put a team together for innovation. Colonel Carlton was the lead of that, of 50 people or more, and we really came out ahead. We got a 3D printer. We got a 3D camera, which really has proven worth every penny since this COVID thing's going on, because we were able to connect with headquarters out at DC and do some of the surveys when we're trying to get new airplanes, J models, and the air evacuation squadron as well with the 3D camera. So that's been outstanding to show them our base, walk through, they can stop and pan around and look at things, and they don't have to be here, so we're doing everything virtually. And we were prepared to do that before they asked us. Tons of other things with inflatable shelters and those kind of things that we can blow up around the engines out on the airplane for weather, wind, those kind of things, or heat, and get our airmen out of the weather while they're working on planes. So that was a great job, Colonel Carlton. Thanks for your support there. In closing, I just want to talk initially what we've done throughout the years, and I know I missed a lot, but Colonel Thomas, thanks for your leadership. Thanks for everything you've done. Thanks for stepping up to the task. You have a great team behind you, and you know that. And the airmen are what make things happen up here. As you know, if you take care of them, they will take care of you. As always, I look forward to working with you in our new roles and as we continue on. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Dixon. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the official change of command of the 120th Airlift Wing. Colonel Dixon will relinquish command of the 120th Airlift Wing, and Colonel Thomas will assume command.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. Departments of the Army and Air Force, Joint Force Headquarters, Montana. According to Special Order Number GA11MT, dated 28 April 2020, Colonel Buell J. Dixon, relinquishes command of the 120th Airlift Wing, and Colonel Trace N. Thomas assumes command, effective 13 June 2020, by order of Major General Matthew Quinn, Commander, Montana National Guard. At ease, please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 120th Airlift Wing, Colonel Thomas.
Well, the good news is I got 3 pages of 8 font notes here to try and get through, and everybody knows that part is a lie. So 8 font was a long time ago. The better news is I think the outgoing colonel, just like he has in years past, has always gotten the hold of my dirty purples because most of my speech is now out the window because he did a lot of the highlights of it. So thank you, sir. But no, on a serious note, yes, this is a completely different venue than we have ever seen before in the past in regards to a change of command. Over the 3 decades that I've been here and the couple change of commands that I've seen, never has it been to this level where it's such a small crowd and we're doing things in a different manner. So I would be amiss if I didn't say thank you to all those that made this day possible. Key individuals that truly made it possible. Major General Quinn, thank you for your support and dedication and belief that I will be able to fill the big shoes that Colonel Dixon has left behind. General Ronick, General Weber, Colonel Dixon, also thank you for your support and confidence. As far as the men and women of the 120th, couldn't have done it without you. You're the ones that have provided the knowledge base and the experience and so forth to make it possible for me to step in, take the reins, and go with it. So, thank you. There are some that over the past year have been real outstanding and more influential in regards to taking over the maintenance group. I was in operations for quite some time, 25 years, and then last year moved over to the maintenance group. That's where I started is in the enlisted side, so it wasn't a new arena for me, but everything had kind of changed. We were no longer in fighters. There were a lot of different faces over the 25 years, and I had a great crew welcome me in there and get me through this past year of trials, tribulations, deployments, learning the ISO process in the C-130 and so forth. So Lieutenant Colonel St. Mars, Major Factor, Major Salati, Master Sergeant Chapman and her crew at the CSS, I could not have done it without you in maintenance. Colonel Stevens, thank you as a deputy. You were always there to help and lend a helping hand and so forth. And all the chiefs, couldn't have done it without them in maintenance. What a professional bunch of individuals that were always there, ready, step up to the plate, knock it out of the park, and willing to lend a helping hand. A good example of that would have been this summer, or a year ago, getting ready to deploy. They took it upon themselves to be hard chargers and did TCTOs, time inspections, on all of our aircraft before they went to desert. Didn't have to. They did them 2 years ahead of time just so our air crew were safe. So that's the kind of people that they are. It's great to work with individuals like that, and it is a pleasure on a daily basis. I would be truly missed if I didn't say thank you to the people that mean the most, my family. Without them, this wouldn't have been possible. All the schools deployments, so forth. The rocks that have held the fort down at home and checked cows and did all that. So thank you. Couldn't have done it without you. On a different note, this is a position that 34 years ago, never in a million years did I think I would be sitting in. It was one of those that I grew up, Sims, 35 miles away from here, out to the west, and all I wanted to do was fly. Fly, fly, fly. And little did I know that would join in the Guard, got me to that role. It was great, a great run. It's been a great ride, but never did I think it'd put me here. So, and I have friends like that have been there with me the whole time. All right. As for the way ahead, we'll keep this short and sweet. This is, I know, the point where you're supposed to sit here and come up with profound words of what the future holds and what we're going to do. I'll tell you what. COVID-19 has probably given us the biggest, what we thought would be a black eye, and it hasn't. We've gone through things completely different. The middle of March, little did we know that we would end up, number one, having a change of command in a virtual world. Number two, teleworking the military in some way or some fashion. And just overall doing things the way business is, the new normal. Well, we've done it. We've knocked it out of the park. The airmen of the 120th have gone above and beyond. Just recently, we completed virtual site surveys, which were usually great, big, in-depth site survey in regards to transitions, conversions, new missions, and so forth. We just have done 2 of those in the virtual world, like the Colonel was saying, something that's never before done, and a virtual change of command, like I just said. So the one thing that is amazing of the men and women of the 120th is they never faltered. They accepted the challenge. They were innovative. They were creative. They were resilient. Not once did we have aircrew go untrained. Not once did we have aircraft not available to execute the mission. Not once did we have bodies not available to do the day-to-day support operations. Even we overcame, and it'll be interesting to see what the new normal is here in the future. And so with that being said, I don't know what our true way ahead is, but I do know that the men and the women of the 120th will take it, accept the challenge, and knock it out of the park like they always do. To me, as an incoming commander, that is the reassuring part, that I know I'm in good hands because they are able to accept those challenges, overcome, persevere, and succeed. If you don't take anything more than what I've talked about or what the Colonel's talked about today, I would say, remember this. Always be ready for change. What does that mean? You never know when it's going to be your turn. You never know when you're going to have to step up and take the reins. So make sure you have your squares filled. Make sure you're got your I's dotted, T's crossed, and ready to accept that challenge. And I know that everybody is willing to do that because we've seen it over the last couple months. So keep up the great work. It's an honor. I'm very blessed and thankful to be stepping in and taking over the reins of such a truly successful organization. So thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Thomas. This concludes our change of command ceremony. At this time, we will transition into the promotion portion of Colonel Dixon to Brigadier General. Colonel Dixon, please come forward. Attention to orders. Special order number G0M1352001, dated 14 May 2020. By order of the Secretary of the Air Force and direction of the President, Colonel Buell J. Dixon is promoted to the grade of Brigadier General in the Montana Air National Guard, effective 13 June 2020. Please be seated. Please be seated. Would Julie and the boys please come forward for the placing of the new rank insignia? We will follow with his parents. Would his parents please come forward? At this time, General Quinn will now administer the oath of office to Brigadier General Dixon. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand.
Right hand, repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Buell J. Dixon,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Montana
and the Constitution of the State of Montana
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I will obey the orders
that I will obey the orders
of the President of the United States
of the President of the United States
and the Governor of the State of Montana,
and the Governor of the State of Montana,
that I make this obligation freely
and I make this obligation free
without any mental reservation
without any mental
or
reservation
purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office of Brigadier General
of the office of Brigadier General
in the Air National Guard
in the Air National Guard
of the State of Montana,
of the State of Montana,
upon which
upon which
I'm about to enter.
about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. At this time, the General Officer flag will be presented to Brigadier General Dixon. The United States Air Force authorizes a personal flag to those who warrant them by virtue of their office. Historically, a general officer flag was utilized primarily during military exercises and on the field of battle to signify the location and presence of a general officer. These flags were often designed at great expense and personally approved by the general officer. The wide variety of colors and symbols often depicted the personality of the general. The modern version of the general officer flag was first authorized in 1903 by the War Department. In 1947, all United States Air Force Brigadier General officers of the line were authorized an AQUA marine blue flag with a white star and a gold fringe. This flag, signifying the presence of a Brigadier General, will be present at all official military functions. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to present to you Brigadier General Buell J. Dixon. This concludes the promotion portion of today's ceremony. Now we will witness Brigadier General Dixon assume command of the Montana Air National Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the official change of command of the Montana Air National Guard. Attention to orders. Departments of the Army and Air Force, Joint Force Headquarters, Montana. According to Special Order Number GA09MT, dated 28 April 2020, Brigadier General Buell J. Dixon assumes command, effective 13 June 2020, by order of Governor Steve Bullock, Commander-in-Chief. The change of command is a military formation, deeply rooted in history and tradition. Dating back to the 18th century reign of King Frederick the Great of Prussia. During this time, organizational flags were developed with colors and symbols unique to each military unit. These soldiers of the unit would pledge their loyalty and trust to their commander, which was symbolized by his flag. When a change of command took place, the flag would be passed to the individual assuming command. This gesture was accomplished in front of the unit so all could witness their leader assuming this dutiful position. He who controlled the flag also controlled the soldiers and their allegiance. This tradition has survived throughout military history. The transfer of the flag to Brigadier General Dixon symbolizes the assumption of command. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the commander of the Montana Air National Guard, Brigadier General Dixon.
Well, sir, that wasn't that bad. Sir, I want to thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for selecting me for this. I know it's sometimes weighs hard on you. You want to make sure you get the right person in the right place. I will give it my best. My goals throughout this is to bring all of us together as a team, to bring Joint Force Headquarters, the Army, Red Horse, and the Wing together, and to be more integral working team to where we can be more efficient and get the job done even better than we have in the past. I want to continue to support Major General Quinn and the Governor in creating a leading edge wing. My goal is to have the #1 C-130 unit wing in the world and continue down that road with the airmen that we already have the #1 airman in the world. We also need to ensure we support our community in times of need. With COVID, any domestic operations, anything there is there, we need to be there to support them, and we'll be there every time we're called on. We have the trained and willing airmen and the soldiers that can handle any task given the right direction, and I plan on being there to help support that. Sir, you have my utmost dedication to help ensure we succeed every time, no matter the issue. Thank you for this opportunity, and thanks for being here, everybody. I appreciate it.
We extend our congratulations to Brigadier General Dixon and wish him success as the Montana Air National Guard Commander. At this time, we ask that you please stand for the departure of the official party. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the formal portion of today's ceremonies. Thank you for joining us today.